Welcome to our video, Debunking Climate Misconceptions in American Media. Today, we'll tackle some of the most prevalent myths and misunderstandings surrounding climate change that are often perpetuated in the media. From the myth that climate change is a hoax to the oversimplification of potential solutions, we aim to clarify the facts with a focus on the real science. Join us as we dissect each misconception and reveal the truth behind the urgent climate challenges we face today. 1. The myth of climate change is a hoax. One of the most prevalent misconceptions perpetuated by American media is the idea that climate change is a hoax. This notion, often echoed by certain political figures, undermines the overwhelming scientific consensus that climate change is real and human-induced. The narratives that deny climate change often cherry-pick data or misinterpret scientific findings to fit a predetermined agenda. For instance, the existence of cold weather events is sometimes used as evidence against global warming, ignoring the broader patterns of climate disruption. Just like a single cloudy day doesn't disprove global warming, isolated weather events don't negate the long-term trends of climate change. It's crucial to differentiate between weather and climate, as the former is short-term and the latter reflects long-term patterns. 2. Confusing climate science with uncertainty. Another misconception is that climate science is uncertain and therefore unreliable. While it's true that science involves uncertainty, this doesn't mean that climate predictions are baseless. In fact, uncertainty in science is more about the range of possible outcomes rather than a lack of knowledge. The media often highlights scientific debates and uncertainties, giving the impression that climate science is still in its infancy. However, the core principles of climate change, such as the greenhouse effect and the role of carbon dioxide, have been established for over a century. Misinterpreting scientific uncertainty can be likened to misunderstanding the chances of rain forecasted as being unsure if it will rain or not, instead of understanding the probability involved. 3. Overstating the economic costs of climate action. The belief that climate action is economically detrimental is another misconception that frequently surfaces in American media. Critics argue that transitioning to renewable energy and implementing environmental regulations would cripple the economy. However, this perspective often ignores the economic opportunities that come with green technologies and the job creation potential in renewable sectors. For example, the solar and wind industries have already created more jobs in America than the coal industry. Furthermore, the cost of inaction, such as damage from extreme weather events and health impacts, is rarely factored into these economic arguments. Investing in sustainable practices can be compared to buying insurance. It might seem costly up front, but it can save much more in the long run. 4. The misrepresentation of climate models. Climate models are frequently misrepresented in media discussions, leading to misconceptions about their accuracy and reliability. Often, these models are portrayed as mere guesses rather than sophisticated tools grounded in physics and mathematics. Critics may point to discrepancies between model predictions and observed data as evidence of their inadequacy. However, models are designed to project long-term trends and scenarios, not to predict short-term or specific weather events. It's like using a map for a road trip. It provides an overview of possible routes and directions, but it can't predict every bump or detour along the way. Understanding the purpose and limitations of climate models is essential for interpreting their results accurately. 5. Ignoring the role of human activity. A common narrative in American media is the downplaying of human activity's role in climate change. Some outlets suggest that natural processes are the primary drivers of climate shifts, thus absolving human responsibility. While natural factors like volcanic eruptions and solar variations do influence climate, they cannot account for the rapid warming observed since the Industrial Revolution. Human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels and deforestation, have significantly accelerated climate change. It's similar to a pot of water on a stove. While ambient room temperature affects the water, it's the heat from the stove that causes it to boil. Recognizing the human influence is crucial for addressing the root causes of climate change. 6. The oversimplification of climate solutions. Media coverage often oversimplifies climate solutions, presenting them as either too easy or impossibly difficult. This binary perspective can lead to public apathy, as people might feel that individual actions are futile or that systemic changes are unachievable. In reality, addressing climate change requires a multifaceted approach that includes both personal responsibility and policy reform. Simple actions, like reducing energy consumption and supporting sustainable products, are part of the solution. However, large-scale change also necessitates governmental action and international cooperation. It's akin to solving a puzzle. Each piece is important, but the complete picture only emerges when all pieces work together. 7. Underestimating the urgency of the situation. And lastly, the media often underestimates the urgency of climate change, framing it as a distant problem rather than an immediate crisis. This portrayal can lead to complacency and delay crucial actions needed to mitigate its impacts. Scientific reports consistently warn of the narrowing window to prevent irreversible damage, yet this urgency is frequently lost in media narratives. It's like ignoring a leaking faucet until the water bill skyrockets. Early intervention is key to avoiding larger problems down the road. Recognizing the immediacy of the climate crisis is essential for mobilizing timely and effective responses. 8. Conclusion. And addressing these misconceptions requires a concerted effort from both the media and the public to engage with climate science more critically and responsibly. By debunking myths and highlighting facts, we can foster a more informed and proactive response to one of the greatest challenges of our time.